Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. Want to thank you so much for tuning in today. All right, guys, I'm back with other updates out of the Middle East. Want to give you more information out of the war between Israel and Iran tonight. And we've got very big news. We're going to talk about U.S. President Donald Trump and a major warning that he's issued to Iran. Let's start off with this story here on your screen. Trump orders all citizens to evacuate from Iran's capital of Tehran. President Trump warned that everyone in Tehran should immediately evacuate, an alarming Monday night Truth Social post, as he stated he would be leaving the G7 summit a day early. Now, we talked about the G7 summit earlier today, and I let you guys know that tomorrow on Tuesday, we're supposed to be seeing Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, meeting at the G7 summit. And on the sidelines, they're supposed to be discussing potentially Ukraine purchasing weapons directly from the United States. Now, all of a sudden, due to the deteriorating situation in the Middle East with Iran and Israel right now, he's leaving early, apparently. Okay, and definitely makes you wonder if the U.S. is prepared to get involved in this conflict between Israel and Iran right now. And I also reported to you guys earlier that last night we had reports that dozens of aerial refueler tanker aircraft were traveling from the United States over to Europe in possible preparation to get involved in what's happening over here. So we're going to talk about multiple things today. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. We're going to hop on over here to X with the official page of the White House on X. We've got this post here from Donald J. Trump himself, the President of the United States. And I'm going to read this to you guys. Donald J. Trump on a True Social: Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Okay, so you can see the time here was 6:30 p.m. This was probably Eastern time. So this would have been right around 3:30 p.m. my time, just about 3 to 4 hours ago. And this is huge. I mean, if he's calling on the citizens of Tehran to evacuate, there's approximately 9.8 million people that live there, if not more. So that's a massive evacuation. We've actually got video footage I can show you guys today of thousands of people just leaving Tehran right now, just simply due to a social media post. I mean, what if the U.S. doesn't even do anything or get involved over here? Looks like they're preparing to carry out some sort of massive strike very close to Tehran, or maybe even on the city. And the U.S. could be getting involved here. You guys can let me know what you think is going to happen, but it definitely seems that way. Now I want to show you this from Ozen Defender. Asked earlier why he has to leave the G7 summit early and head back to Washington. U.S. President Trump said, I have to be back. Very important. You probably see what I see. I have to be back as soon as I can. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand this is big stuff. Yeah, he's talking about what's going on in the Middle East. And not exactly stating what's going on, but clearly everybody sees what's happening in the Middle East, and the U.S. might get involved over there. Just want to show you this clip real quick, 46 seconds.
President, any statement on why you're leaving the G7 early for Washington?
Well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. He did a fantastic job. Thank you in Canada. But you probably see what I see, and I have to be back as soon as I can. I'm going to have dinner with these wonderful leaders, and then I get on the plane. I have to be back early.
Have you heard the National Security Council?
I loved it. I tell you, I loved it. And I think we got a lot done. Really a lot done. In fact, UK, we signed a big trade deal today, and we're working on others. But we had just a really great relationship with everybody, and it's really nice. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but they understand.
Is there a reason,
big,
Mr. President, that
big
you
stuff.
can't do your business?
Okay, so clearly something serious is going down if he's leaving earlier. I believe this summit's supposed to be going on for several days. And again, tomorrow, he was supposed to be meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. Looks like that won't be the case unless he's able to arrive back tomorrow. And it makes you wonder if something might be going down tonight. So far, I haven't heard anything, but definitely very worrisome there. Now from Ozen Defender, the White House confirms that the U.S. President Trump will depart a day early from the G7 summit in Canada following a dinner tonight alongside the other heads of state, with him returning to Washington, D.C. in order to attend to many important matters regarding the Middle East. Okay, so that was basically a statement coming out from the White House confirming that Trump, yes, he is leaving and supposedly heading back to the White House or into Washington to attend very important matters. Okay, so obviously concerning what's happening in the Middle East right now. Now, for Mosa Defender, U.S. President Trump answered additional questions earlier from reporters about Iran during the G7 summit in Canada, with him stating, "I want to see no nuclear weapon in Iran, and we're well on our way to making sure that happens." Asked if he believed Israel could suppress the nuclear threat posed by Iran without U.S. help, Trump responded, "It's irrelevant. Something's going to happen." Okay, so he's saying that, speaking about whether Israel has the capabilities to strike and destroy Iran's nuclear program and destroy all their different sites and whatnot. He's saying that doesn't matter, that something's going to happen. Iran is going to be prevented from obtaining a nuclear weapon, and I'm assuming that means that even if the U.S. has to get involved, they're going to do something to stop Iran from doing so. Okay, so that's a crazy statement coming out, and another big possibility showing that the U.S. might get involved very soon. Now, from Mosin Defender, U.S. President Trump is not leaving the G7 summit in Canada early for discussions about a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, according to CBS News. So I thought this was interesting also. This is what CBS News was reporting, that Trump's not leaving the G7 summit in Canada early for discussions about a ceasefire. Now, obviously, this doesn't state anything about what's going on in terms of the U.S. potentially striking Iran's nuclear facilities. I mean, that's something very well known within the public. Around the world, everybody knows the U.S. might possibly do that. So this is kind of confusing the way it's worded here. It talks about like a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, and right now we're not seeing that. Israel already came out calling on Iran and stating that they're not willing to negotiate in any way with Iran. I mean, this war has already begun, and Israel's going to fight till the very end and make sure they destroy Iran's nuclear program, even if the U.S. gets involved or they don't. So I thought that was an interesting story there. Just wanted to show you that. Now, Mosin Defender, in addition to U.S. President Trump, the State Department confirms that Secretary of State and Acting National Security Advisor Marco Rubio will also be returning tonight to Washington, D.C., where he will likely attend the meeting of National Security Council, NSC, at the White House. Okay, so we even got Marco Rubio. Okay, so he's this U.S. Secretary of State and Acting National Security Advisor. He'll be returning as well to Washington, D.C. to attend this meeting of the National Security Council at the White House. So that's even more news that something's about to go down here. And now, Max 25. Trump has requested that the National Security Council be prepared in the Situation Room, according to Fox. Okay, that's what Fox is reporting today. It says here Trump to leave G7 summit and return to Washington on Monday. Yeah, so as far as I know, he did leave early today and is on his way back to Washington, D.C. to meet with the National Security Council in the White House. Now, for Mosin Defender, according to New York Times, U.S. President Trump is weighing a critical decision in the 4-day-old war between Israel and Iran, whether to enter the fray by helping Israel destroy the deeply buried nuclear enrichment facility at Fordo, which only American bunker busters dropped by American B-2 bombers can reach. Additionally, President Trump has encouraged Vice President J.D. Vance and his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, to offer to meet the Iranians this week, with officials believing that the offer may be well received. If such a meeting were to happen, Iran would likely send its Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi to meet with Vance and Witkoff. Now, these are two interesting stories here, okay? So New York Times reporting that if the U.S. gets involved, they'd probably go to bomb the Fordo nuclear facility that's just a little bit south of Tehran, kind of closer to the central of the country. And that's one of the major facilities that Israel does not have the capabilities to destroy. Only the U.S. has these bunker buster bombs that be dropped from American B-2 bombers that would destroy that. Israel cannot do it. I believe they've attacked it, but they're not able to destroy it at this time, as far as I know. So that could be the case. And then also, could we see nuclear talks continue in the next few days? I mean, maybe behind the scenes, Iran and the U.S. are trying to work that out still. But from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't look like they're reaching any kind of a nuclear deal, and we're seeing major escalation. So I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Maybe that's just a cover for show here to see that the U.S. is trying to work towards negotiating with Iran, but in the end, it seems like very likely they're going to strike and destroy their nuclear facilities, very possibly. Now, for Mosin Defender, according to a report by I-24 News, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered that preparations be made for the United States to potentially join the ongoing operations by Israel against Iran in case the green light is given by President Trump. The report further states that officials within U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, likely including CENTCOM Commander General Michael E. Correa, support U.S. involvement in Iran, but there's opposition by other senior officials in the Trump administration. Now, this was interesting as well because it was only I-24 News that was reporting this just a few hours ago, that apparently U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered for preparations for the United States to potentially join these operations that Israel's engaging in right now with Iran, and possibly go and try to destroy their nuclear facilities. So it looks like very possibly as well the Secretary of Defense is ready to go. The Department of Defense is ready to launch this attack and waiting for the green light from Trump, according to that report. Now from Vicegrad 24, breaking massive explosion, in Parchin. Iran produces missiles and warheads there, while traces of uranium were found there in 2015, indicating that Iran is using the site for its nuclear weapons program. So here's kind of where Parchin is up here, kind of on the northern side of the country, not too far away from Tehran. And when Israel attacked Iran just a few months back, if you guys remember that, they launched some airstrikes over there way before all this mess was happening last week. We actually saw this facility be attacked one time, and Israel reportedly destroyed like one or two buildings over here at the Parchin missile production site, and allegedly they could be using this for their nuclear weapons program. And apparently we heard some massive explosions happening over here tonight. Here's where Fordo is at, just a little bit south of Tehran right here. So this is that other nuclear site. The U.S. could launch strikes and try to destroy that. Now from World Source News 24/7, breaking, the intensity of the explosions in Shiraz, Iran is unprecedented. Okay, so what we're hearing also, this is a city in southern Iran, closer to the Strait of Hormuz. And apparently this city was being attacked as well. I'm not sure exactly why, but there's just been so many reports tonight of just massive explosions all over Iran. Israel still hammering a lot of military sites, going after ballistic missile launchers, air defense systems, military airfields and whatnot. They're just slamming Iran all over the place with missiles and bombs. So just a lot of reports of explosions everywhere. Now for Mario Nafal, breaking, mass evacuation of Tehran accelerates after Trump Truth Social post. Civilians continue to flee Tehran tonight following Trump's order to evacuate the city. The exodus, which began days ago, has surged as Iranian air defenses collapse and airstrikes intensify across the capital. So we've got this video here. I can play it here for you guys a little bit, just to show you the thousands of people that are trying to leave Tehran. Just look at the traffic jam here of all these people trying to get out. I mean, we're talking 9+ million people all trying to leave at the same time, just simply due to a social media post from U.S. President Donald Trump telling everybody to evacuate. And they don't even know what's going to happen yet. But, you know, people don't want to take any chances. They want to get out now before the U.S. does launch some strikes over there if they choose to, or what's going to happen. But it looks like something could be going down, and a lot of these people are worried that that's going to happen. Now, Max 25, Chinese embassy in Israel. We urge our citizens to leave Israel via land toward Jordan as soon as possible. Okay, so the Chinese embassy calling on their own citizens in Israel to get out now, as it looks like things are about to get crazy over there. We have been hearing reports of Iran launching ballistic missiles at Israel, but nothing like what we saw over the weekend. It really seems like Iran is running out of missiles or running out of launchers. They're just not launching nearly as many attacks onto Israel. And when they do fire, they'll fire maybe 5 or 10 or so at a time. They're not launching, 50 or 100 or more like they were towards the beginning of when this war broke out. Now, Vicegrad 24, breaking, Russia orders its citizens to leave Israel immediately. So, Russia doing the same thing, calling on their citizens to leave Israel right now. Now, from World Source News 24/7 again, breaking, Representative Nancy Mace says she hopes the Iranian people will listen to President Trump's warning, evacuate Tehran. So yeah, U.S. Representative Nancy Mace out of Congress, that was her message here, and she quoted what Trump put on X, okay, calling on the Iranian people to leave immediately from Tehran. And she's saying, I hope the Iranian people will listen to President Trump's warning, evacuate Tehran and get out now. So something big is coming over there, guys. I don't know exactly what, but something is. Now from Ozen Technical, singular Iranian ballistic missile lifting off towards Israel during this morning's attack. Only one other missile trail can be seen. Iranian launchers have taken heavy losses from Israeli strikes in the past few days. So just like I mentioned earlier, that we're not seeing as many attacks. This is video footage coming out earlier this morning from Iran, and you can clearly see a missile that has been fired here. It looks like it's going vertically straight up, and some people were indicating that some new missiles might be fired from Iran, that Iran's using some sort of missiles that they haven't fired yet. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it looks like it's going straight up in the air here. But, obviously these are ballistic missiles. And yeah, we only see one being fired there, so possibly indicating that Iran is running out of missiles or maybe launchers to fire these missiles at Israel. Now, as a defender, photos are currently circulating which appear to show 3 ships on fire off the coast of Iran in the Gulf of Oman near the Strait of Hormuz. NASA's Fire Information for Resource Management Systems firms map appear to confirm these fires in the Gulf of Oman. Yeah, this was interesting too. Some sort of fire out here in the Gulf of Oman. And I'm not really sure what caused this yet. This information is just starting to break. You can see here 7:10 p.m. and it's currently 7:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my time. So that was just roughly about 30 minutes ago or so, 35 minutes at the time that I record this tonight for you guys. And yeah, some sort of fire broke out over here in the Gulf of Oman, close to Iran. And I'm not sure, maybe some ships got struck and destroyed over here. Don't know too much details yet, but apparently there is some sort of fires here on ships. And if I get information on that, I'll let you guys know later. Now, World Source News 24/7, 5 additional U.S. tankers are being loaded and setting course for eastern routes. Okay, we talked about this earlier. I gave you guys an update that the U.S. last night deployed like somewhere around 30 or 32 aerial refueler tanker aircraft to Europe and also the Middle East. And I was wondering, why would they be doing that? Why would they be sending so many of these over there? There is a major aerial exercise going on right now with Finland and the United States. There's going to be a lot of fighter aircraft over there involved in this exercise, but they don't need this many of these aerial refuelers over there just to do this. It looks like we've got another potentially 5 more heading over there as well to either the Middle East or to Europe. So that's just crazy. You know, this is probably 35, maybe upwards of 40 by now. Who really knows? Maybe even the ones that turn off their transponders. Who knows how many are actually heading over there? And if these aerial refuelers are going over there, they could be potentially setting up to get ready to help out with any aircraft from the U.S. side that might be launching strikes onto Iran to make sure they can properly be refueled in the air. So that's definitely some scary information that shows that something could be coming as well. Now, from World Source News 24/7, breaking: Pentagon confirms additional deployments to Middle East are for defensive posture in the region. Yeah, this is what the Secretary of Defense said. Over the weekend, I directed the deployment of additional capabilities to the United States Central Command area of responsibility. Protecting U.S. forces is our top priority. These deployments are intended to enhance our defensive posture in the region. Yeah, troops have been deployed over there. We're seeing a lot of aircraft being deployed. We had all these aerial refuelers last night being deployed over to Europe and also the Middle East as well. So they're claiming that it's strictly just for defensive posture. And in my opinion, until it's not, until they actually utilize it to potentially attack Iran. But again, we can't completely confirm that's what all this is setting up for, but it kind of seems that way. And just kind of speculating, it seems like the U.S. could be preparing to launch strikes onto Iran. And finally, from Polymarket, breaking: the U.S. is projected to take imminent military action against Iran. Yeah, so the Polymarket just blowing up here today. This is kind of like a website where people kind of vote on here on what's going to happen with certain situations around the world. And you can see this graph here just really spiking recently in the last few hours here. And it says U.S. military action against Iran before July. I think earlier it was at like 28% over here is where I saw it. Now it's jumping up all the way to 67% chance that people believe that the U.S. could potentially take military action against Iran before the end of the month. And I think it's highly likely. I mean, the way we're seeing things set up right now could be very likely here in the near future. But just wanted to give you guys some updates, let you know what's going on with the situation over here in the Middle East. And things are definitely escalating very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next 24 hours or even the next few hours, we could see something going down in the Middle East. But let me know what you guys think is going on down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.